I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure there is. I just not 100% sure. So one interesting thing is I haven't turned off my printer since I did some test prints earlier today. I was just kind of throwing through some of Luke's little clips. I was trying to make them snap, and I was just doing little test prints with the Jubilee just to run it through its paces a little bit. Anyway, as you can see here, my heaters show 2000. I think H2B gave me a suggestion that I was going to try out here.
2000 is an interesting value.
Yeah. So he said try. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say H2B suggests trying an M0 command. So let's see what happens. Nope, still 2000. I'm wondering. God, I just don't know what could cause
now,
that.
Now these are P1000s, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering, is there somehow something is changing the type of thermal resistor or something like that at the end of the print?
Let's check and see what the.
Oh, what's the command to show your settings?
Oh, your configuration, M503. I don't know if that'll do it.
Oh, let's just see. Response too long. See console.
Yeah, it's response too long for console because it dumps a bunch of stuff out there.
Yeah. So this just looks like it's straight up writing the
It writes out the config file.
Yeah, so I don't know that this is going to show us anything. There was a status command. Oh, what was it? I feel like it was something around, like if you write a 500 or something. See if I can find it really quick.
Yeah, I don't know RepRap at all. I know Marlin GCode, but
there was a command that you could put in to see, like after it's run, do you remember what the command is to run a, I think it was a, what do you call it, an auto tune?
PID auto tuning.
Yeah, do you remember what command it was off the top of your head? I can look it up.
I think it's in the 300s. It's like an M300 something.
There's set parameters. There we go.
Run PID auto tune.
Yeah, I was trying to.
What kind of thermistor is defined in the config file? That didn't change, did it?
Shouldn't be, but we'll look. No, it still says PT1000.
Okay.
What's interesting about it, by the way, is I haven't bothered to change the other thermal resistor yet to a PT1000 because I don't have a tool anyway. But both values are reading 2000, and normally I get negative 271.
Because it's not connected.
Exactly.
That looks like a memory corruption problem.
I think it's only on the Pi side, but I'm not sure.
Have you restarted the Pi?
I haven't restarted the Pi. I don't know how to. Let's see. I could try restarting the Pi without restarting. Is there a restart
without
button?
doing a power cycle?
Well, I was curious about how do you reset the Pi without resetting the.
Log into the Pi. SSH into the Pi.
Wait a minute. I think I can use the keyboard here. Yes. Let's try this. Reboot.
So you can open up PuTTY or.
Oh, I forgot. I have the little keyboard connected to the Pi. I just.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you should be able to just restart the Pi.
Yeah. I was looking to see if there's a button on it, but.
No, there's not.
Oh. It would be nice
and
if
the
they...
Pi, you have to do a normal shut. You have to basically do a command line shutdown or restart.
So I was kind of thinking, if I have like an old laptop, I'm kind of curious if I could actually manage to fit a Raspberry Pi inside it and just take out all the... I have an old laptop that I was thinking about, like, I wonder if I could just strip out all the guts, somehow attach the monitor to the Pi, and then just use the Raspberry Pi on the inside of the of an old laptop case, basically gutted, take out the motherboard and everything.
Yeah, you can do that. People have done it before.
Yeah,
and depending on the type of display, you might be able to connect it directly to the Pi, or you modify.
So this is interesting.
Depending on the kind of display that's in the laptop, you may be able to even connect the laptop display directly to the Pi.
Yeah, so we're still displaying 2000. So if I reset the Duet board,
and then it clears.
Or does it?
Yep. Nope, they're still displaying 2000. That's weird.
Yeah, so if I reset one or the other, nothing happens. Oh, wait a minute. So the tools are actually connected to the 3HC board.
Are they connected?
Yeah, so...
Is the 3H board connected?
Well, it is, yeah. But
there's a reset button on the 3H board.
Yeah, I just hit it.
Okay. The heaters do show as offline.
Huh. So I have to reset the 3HC.
Hey, there's some temperatures for you.
Yeah, so I had to reset the 3HC board, and then I had to reset the 6HC board.
Okay.
That's
so your
weird.
3HC board locked up.
It seems that whatever happens at the end of a print, it doesn't like it.
Okay, so what do you have in your GCode at the completion of a print?
I don't know. Okay, here we go. We turn off. We use an M10. What? Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you can just zoom in or make the screen bigger. Probably not.
Well, here, let me just copy the code into Discord. I can't.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Go to sleep, buddy. It's okay. There we go. It's okay. No, you don't have to leave. Seriously, dude. There's a lap. I'm sitting down. I've got my feet. Come on. I moved. He's unhappy.
So it uses an M104.
I don't know that you need an M104. Well, no, M104 turns off the extruder. Now you've got, so you're turning off extruder 1 and extruder 2. And M104, I think, is your, I think it's your fan. Or is it, no, it's a temperature. You're setting the temperatures.
I'm popping it up here 1 second.
You can also just do an Alt-F, type M104, it'll take you right to it.
True. Here we go. Some firmware support an optional T parameter. What is it? Set, oh yeah, just set extruder temperature.
Yeah, it's just setting that extruder temperature.
So I wouldn't imagine.
So you're setting your extruder temperature to 0.
So
see where it says you're doing M104 F020?
Mhm.
I think what you need to do is, because you don't have extruder 1 connected, just comment that line out. And then you got M84, right, at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, so your M84 turns off your stepper motors.
Right.
So you're parking your, so you're doing a GX0F0. So you're putting the, you're turning off the bed, and then you're putting your carriage back to the home position without actually homing.
I don't know why you'd actually want to run the home.
I don't know that you want to run. You don't have to run a home. You're just putting it back there.
Yeah, you said without running a homing. I wasn't sure why.
Well, you don't have. You're not doing a G28. See, you're doing just a G0.
Right. I don't see why I would want to try to home it. Is what I was saying.
Yeah, you don't need to.
All right.
So at this point, I would go ahead and, with that change, go ahead and run a single print, because it looks like those things only take a few minutes.
Yeah.
I hear movement. Seriously, dude, that's just my milk. You can't have. Here you go.
Yeah, so earlier, I got really confused because I was trying to run some of these little clips one at a time, and the second time I tried to run a clip, all of a sudden I'd hear it like grinding the filament. I'm like, how am I grinding the filament? That doesn't make any sense. And it's because at 2000 it was just assuming, oh, okay, it must be good to go, and
yeah, that would do it. So I got my motor plates manufactured today. I wasn't paying attention, and my filament unspooled itself enough. So apparently my bearings are really smooth. And when it tugs on the spool,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, a coil came down and caught on the heat sink on the stepper motor, and so I printed like 4 layers without any filament running through the extruder. So ended up dumping that job and running it again, and so I've got PETG spacers spacer blocks and motor plates now.
Nice.
So is it warming up the?
Yeah, it's warming the bed up.
Okay.
Yeah, whether this works or doesn't work, I'm going to turn off the printer at the end so I can actually start putting clips in.
Okay.
Because the cable's kind of bunching up and it really doesn't. I'm afraid it's going to just tear the cable up if I keep messing around with it.
Yep. All right.
Oh, that's another strange thing, is that it's not running the purge. So basically, it's not priming the.
Can you throw your starting
nozzle.
GCode into the chat?
Sure. I figure there's no purge, but I find that kind of weird because I don't know why. I haven't really looked at it, but I don't know why Josh wouldn't have put a purge in there. Unless it's supposed to purge from some other macro or something that I'm not really sure. But that's straight out of Josh's profile right there. So.
Huh. Okay.
Oh, my big box is back to life. I don't remember if I told you that
good.
or not.
I was having some weirdness with my big printer, and so I was trying to print. I tried to print something, and because I was having trouble with it, so I printed this, and it seemed to print okay. So it looks pretty decent. Oh my, you printed a bunch of stuff on the big box.
Yep, lots of clips.
Still waiting for the bed to heat up.
Yep.
And there it goes.
I'm going to pause it and manually purge some here really quick.
Okay. I can't tell if you're getting in this element or not.
Yeah, it did. It squirted some out.
It does move pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've actually slowed this profile down a little bit too. Eventually, I'm going to put it at the same speed as the big box and do some tests. Because I've got the big box pretty well dialed in, so I can use that as a more or less as a benchmark, and then try to fix print issues that I know aren't speed related.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's hard to explain to somebody who doesn't do this. That it's like, well, why do I get rough print? It's like, well, there's a couple of reasons. The model could be bad. The orientation. What are your slicer settings? What's changing in the environment? Because that's the thing that new people always discount. They don't take into consideration. You know, what do you take into consideration for, you know, when your ambient temperature changes by 15 degrees?
Yeah, that might have an effect. My basement stays pretty consistent. so not a problem I generally have. But I do want to make the Jubilee eventually more of an enclosed chamber.
Put it in an enclosure. Yeah.
Well, not really in an enclosure, but just make it like have a door on there so that it's kind of its own enclosure. It's not going to be like... What's that?
You need a lid.
I mean...
You need something that goes over the top.
I mostly just want to prevent like drafts from coming in from the sides and stuff. I'm not really worried about drafts coming in from the top as much. Okay. But if that, like I said, I'm not really trying to create a real full-fledged, enclosure. I just mostly want to, draft protection, basically.
Sure.
If it doesn't seem good enough, then I'll consider going to the next step. But like I'm thinking, like a lot of my problems with nylon have just been, printing on an open surface.
Yep, I would do it.
I'm hoping that I can get some decent prints eventually without going like full bore heated chamber. But I'll probably only, like with the Jubilee, I can just pick and choose where I want the nylon to be anyway. I don't have to make the whole print nylon, theoretically.
Yeah, you could even do things like lay down a bead of nylon, lay down some not layers per se, but some paths of nylon. So you could like nylon reinforce things. So you have PETG or PLA or even TPU on the outer edges, nylon in the middle.
Well, here's an example of where I used nylon. Remember how I was talking about the mounts I designed for the laser cutter?
Yeah.
I ended up designing inserts to go in, so essentially to kind of create my own nylock nut. Okay. So my adjustment screws, I don't like have another nut that comes down and presses into it like a typical or like regular K40 stuff. So that way I can adjust it without, like with the nylon, I basically put a very, very tiny hole in it. Then I have a drill bit that I made so that I can just basically clear it out and then self-tap the thumb screws into the nylon. Worked out pretty good.
Oh, that's cool.
So what I could do with the Jubilee that I couldn't do with the big box is I could essentially just print those inserts directly into the part. I don't have to try to super glue them in. Wow, the print finished before I was able to pop all the clips off of the bed on the big box.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's see what it does. Did it go to 2000?
It did.
It did. Did they both go to 2000?
Yep. I think something is faulting. Well, I don't even think it's faulting it because I can still try to print, and it will actually still try to print if I let it. Because I figured this out the hard way earlier. Boy, that's annoying. Because now it's like in order to reset it, I have to home everything where I shouldn't need to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what the M0 would do for you. So you're on the M3 or the 3H board or the H3 board. Your CAN bus is
Oh man.
do you have a second cable?
A second cable?
Second RJ11 cable, second CAN bus cable?
No. Well, I mean, I do have more cables, if that's what you're asking, but...
Well, I figured what I was thinking is the second H3 board at least powered?
No, it's not on at all at the moment. I haven't even touched it yet.
Okay.
I'm going to... My plan is to build that afterwards.
All right.
Or build it off the machine and then drop it in. Hey, the clip actually worked this time.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if I can get it on camera or not. Hold on. I gotta pop the clip back open, which is not as easy as closing it. So, so these are Luke's default clips right here.
Yeah.
And then I kind of tweaked it so that it's
Okay.
open. And then the idea is you can push this down and click it. Yeah. Like so.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was going for. Let's see if I can actually clip it on a cable. I don't know.
Okay, that's cool.
So it does clip with no cable. I don't know if it'll clip with a cable. Oh, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. That simple.
Nice.
It
Hey, easy fix.
only took me about 5 or 6 tries to get it right.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Problem is I printed all of the I don't know. I have a lot of regular clips now.
That's okay. Put them in envelopes and send them to people. Keep the good ones for yourself.
Yeah, so that does the trick. Reset the 6HC, or I mean the 3HC, then reset the 6HC. So at least that's better than having to cycle power on the Pi, because
I
takes a
still
lot
think
longer.
you've got a terminator wrong somewhere.
A terminator?
Well, your CAN bus terminator.
I don't think so. If I had a CAN bus terminator, it would it'd be a problem long before I finished a print. It literally only happens at the end of the print. So I don't see how that how that would be a CAN bus problem. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but if I had a terminator wrong, I wouldn't be talking to the 3HC at all. Unless I'm wrong about that, but you have the terminator on the last board, and this is the last board right now. And I have the terminator in. So yeah, fit jumpers to last board on bus. And I have the jumpers in there right now, and because I only have the one board currently. So shouldn't be a terminator issue. Okay. As soon as that thing cools down, I'm gonna.
It says your bed dimension is 10K, which is correct. And printer that has use 100K. Whew. A shorted hot ender thermistor now reads 2000 instead of negative. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean it's rep wrap.
Well, I can guarantee you that it didn't short the second one.
Yeah.
I could just comment out both T's statements.
Yeah, hold on. And you said this is a PT.
It's a PT1000.
Yeah.
There's another thing that happens actually that we shouldn't forget about is that it runs the tool free script.
Oh, let's check the tool free script.
Yeah, that's what I was just going towards.
How about doing this? Move your end GCode. Oh, use that tool free. Sorry.
No, it just looks like movement commands.
Yeah. So go to your end command, your end GCode again.
And
Let's do
Prusa?
this. Before you deselect the current tool, turn off the extruders. So if you just move the M4s before the T-1, and see if sorry. I had a hard time sleeping last night. I didn't get to bed and couldn't really get to sleep until after 4:30.
Oh, crap.
What's wrong?
Oh, I told it to print, but yeah, you need to home it manually first.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't home at the beginning of a print.
You can fix that.
Well, I don't know that I want to fix it.
Hey, having it home at the beginning of a print isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, but on the other hand, if you want to run prints back to back, it's kind of annoying to have to wait through the whole homing sequence. But yeah, I don't know. Whoa, what the heck?
It missed.
Yeah, I see that, but why? It literally just homed, so that shouldn't have been the problem. Didn't it? Did seem like the sequence was quicker than it should have been.
So it just homed.
Alright, I need to start the print again. So are you relaxing or are you working on something?
I'm trying very hard not to fall asleep. I was just about asleep when I was relaxing in my chair with the massage and heat going from my back when YouTube popped up and said you were starting to stream.
Yeah, the only reason I decided to stream anyway is because I messaged Josh and he said that he would join the stream later. I'm not sure how late is later, but I think he was hinting at around I don't know, another 15-20 minutes from now.
Okay, sounds good.
only problem with these clips is that they seem a little too tight on the zip ties.
Yeah. So did you
Might,
start the print? I can't tell. Oh, there's the bed. The bed's heating up.
yeah. Or the nozzle is right now. It's about to go.
Okay.
But I'll pause and
I'm just waiting to see if it actually grabs the tool.
it grabbed it.
Okay.
I think it had something to do with when I tried to hit the homing after I told it to start a print or something. I think it did something goofy. I thought I had won, and really I hadn't.
Got it.
I really have to get a purge script going. I really need to, as far as setting purge things up,
Okay. Yeah.
I really need to get the wiper installed as well.
It's just nice to watch this thing work. Yeah, I worked by it a little bit this afternoon, but it took a while to print two more motor plates and then two more. It was like 6.5 hours to print the standoffs or the spacers. So those are all printed in PETT now. I'm guessing that was you.
Yeah. Hmm. And my wife's side of the family is pretty well spread out.
Yeah.
Her sister lives in the Philippines, and her dad lives in Nevada. So they've got this group chat. That's where the little bings you occasionally hear are. Today is her dad's birthday.
Oh, that's good. Hope he has a good.
I guess technically it's only got a couple more hours left where he's at. All right. This is going to go this way. So I want my clips to be going.
Come on. No, don't go over the top. That's almost done.
Oh shoot, I wanted to watch it. Let's try to see when the 2000 happened. I guess I can try to look at the live stream.
It looks like it did it right after it. Right after it went back to right after it returned home. Do you have logs? Is there a log file?
I have no idea. I have a log of when the log started and stopped.
Pretty sure it creates a log. Wonder if you reset it and then home everything and then select a tool and then deselect the tool if it jumps at that point.
Love how fast the duet oh shoot. Anyway, I hit the reset buttons. Uh-oh.
Don't forget you still have stuff on the bed.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said uh-oh about. Or I moved the clip so fast that I crushed it.
Oh.
Oops.
Sorry.
What do you? It's not your fault. Doesn't seem to be it.
Okay, so you park the tool, and then you send it back to the 0, 0.
I didn't send it back to 0, 0, but it dropped the tool off.
Okay, so let's go ahead and issue the next command. D0, or wait, so G90, I guess, would be the next one.
I was gonna send it M104 first.
Okay. M104 S020.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to do anything.
Should just turn the heater off.
Should, but just gonna run each one of these here really quick. No idea. I'm going to do the same print, but I'm only going to leave it on browser.
Okay.
That way I can go back and watch the video more easily.
All right.
Hello.
Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Not too shabby. How about you?
Not too bad. Want to hear something weird?
Sure. Is it going to be the sound of the machine?
No.
Okay.
No.
The chattering sound that it makes all the time is a little unnerving.
The what sound?
Just messing with you. Never mind.
The sound of it working at all is unnerving?
No, the chattering. The fact that it's speaking backwards has nothing to do with it.
No, so, really weird quirk at the end of every print. Oh, no. It just happened. No.
It did it just.
Yeah, in the middle of the print. Seems
What
that both temperatures, for some reason, just went to 2000.
That sounds like you might have a disconnect issue.
That's an open sensor.
Even if that's true, why do both of them do it? When the other one, an open sensor.
Wait, no, that's a short. An open is a minus something.
Oh, I couldn't tell you what the numbers are off the top of my head.
No, it's minus 273 on the tool that doesn't have a sensor connected.
Hmm.
Huh.
But you might have a bad board. So you can correct it by resetting the H3 board and then resetting the H6 board. Resetting the Pi doesn't seem to make a difference. If you have to reset the H3 board, then you can reset the H6 board, and then the condition stays. If it weren't such a pain, I'd say swap out the two boards. Create H3 boards.
I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I'm going to replace the ribbon cable. I just have a temporary one on there. See if that fixes it. Maybe there's something wrong with the ribbon cable, since it is kind of just mushed on there. But I still find it really weird that the second heater also goes to 2000 when it's not even connected to anything.
My understanding was that when something was disconnected, that was the readout I would get. But
Really?
It has been a while since I've been in that state, but that's what I remember in the beginning. It's like 2000.
Well, I can stick a sensor on there just to have it not be 2000. But right now I'm preparing a new zip tie with the clips for the ribbon cable.
Okay.
Because right now it's really not good. It's just kind of, it looks horrible. I don't even want to show you a picture of what I'm seeing right now.
Okay.
That was really what I wanted to focus on today, was getting now that I got clips printed, because I got my other printer going again. I wanted to redress out this cable, but then I was like onto this 2000 issue. But so when you had that issue happen, did all the heaters channels on the board like all go to 2000?
No, it was just the one that was disconnected. It was disconnected but configured in the config. I'm gonna say, but I was using a Duet 2, if that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Also, why did you want the bed to go all the way down to 500 at the end, or 500?
Whoa, 500.
I meant 300 at the end of the print. Sorry, I misspoke.
Oh, the reason I did that is because it's kind of hard to actually get your hand in and peel the bed plate off after, if it's a really short print.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let's just move the bed down. And I didn't want to do it a relative move because I didn't want to crash. Well, actually, you know what, I could go back and change that because it does have a hard limit on like 315.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I changed it so it just drops the bed of 20 millimeters.
Relatively. Yeah. I haven't actually. I think I have not checked the edge case, which is. Oh no, the edge case should be fine because if you print something that's 300 millimeters tall, and then drop the bed 20 millimeters. Yeah. Wait. Okay, there's an extra edge case, which is at the very first time you turn on the printer. When you move in XY, it moves down in Z first. That's the. Although I think you might have changed that on yours. But the idea was that if you're really close, you don't smash into anything.
Yeah, but that doesn't change. I'm just talking about the script at the end of a print.
Yeah.
So.
So I think what I'm trying to do in my head is figure out whether or not printing something that is 300 millimeters tall, that then you back off 20 millimeters and it takes you down to 315. And then at the beginning, when you don't know you're homed, if you turn it off in that state, you don't know you're homed, and you home, which starts with 5 extra millimeters down, is that a crash?
I see.
Anyway, that's why I didn't do that. And the other reason too is that well, actually no, I would just make it a bigger move, because I think you'd actually want to move down like 100 millimeters.
Well,
the thing is, you could always, when you change those scripts a little bit, you can always do formulaic in them. So you have your, you just use a formula in that. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You just use your use a conditional in the G-code. So
in the slicer or in Duet 3?
It's in the Duet 3. You put it in the
okay.
Put it in the macro. You do as a conditional in the G-code.
Yeah, you can, but it's a Duet 3 requirement then.
Well, conditional G-code can go in the slicer too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then it's slicer specific.
Well, it's just an end. It's an end G-code. It's an end sequence. All it is. It's an end of print sequence that can go wherever you want to put it. I actually have it as a G-code macro in my for my clipper, and it's in Octoprint. But actually, no, it's in my clipper configuration as an end print macro that I call from the slicer.
Mm-hmm.
And on the end print, it checks where it's at. So it finishes the print, and then it does a -2, -2 XY move while retracting.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. It's like a -2, -2, -2, retract, whatever, retract 1 or something. So it's wiping out, right? And then what do I do? I drop the bed, or I lift the print head 10 millimeters, and then I home XY. And because I've got a bed slinger, right, I then present the print. I push the bed out. But part of my Z-lift, when I do my Z-lift, I've got a conditional in there that it says lift. There it is. That's right. It's lift 30. But the conditional is check and see where you are, right? Mm-hmm. And lift 30 unless it's going to take you past the top of your, or the low, top of your build volume, in which case lift to the top of the build volume. So the idea is that you're clearing the print, then you home the XY, and then you put the print head in a safe position, mm-hmm. right? and then you push the print forward on the bed, so it can be more easily retrieved.
Yeah.
But that conditional can go right there in that, and it's in my end print macro, and that's the GCode macro.
Okay.
So your conditionals can just be, you could have an end print macro in that goes in the duet, right? Because I mean, you got GCode macros in there already, right?
Wait, I don't think, does it? I mean, I don't think you're able to recognize when the print is finished.
Yeah, you just put it in. You put it in your slicer. You put that in your.
Oh yeah, you can put it in the slicer.
Yeah, you put it in the slicer, so you have a start print, end print. You literally, you're calling start print and end print that gets put at the beginning and end of your GCode, and then you're just calling those macros. And my start print macro does things like do my all home. It handles my preheating sequence, and my preheat sequence is a little bit weird, or at least some people think it is. So the first thing I do on that is I do a, what is it, M1 140? No, it's the bed heat that's a non-blocking.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So you start the bed preheat, then you do your homing sequence, right? And then you wait for the bed to finish preheating, or you wait till your bed comes to temperature, and then you sit. I have a pause condition built into it so that the bed thermally stabilizes. And then I run a G29. I build my mesh because I'm always changing print surfaces and things like that, right? So I build my mesh, and then once I've built my mesh, I move my print head to essentially like 0, 0 or 0.1, 0.1 or something like that, and that take it down to 0.15, my Z of 0.15. And then I heat my hot end. Now I've only got one tool, and so what I'm doing is I've got the nozzle real close to the bed while I'm heating the hot end after I've done my bed mesh, because I got to BL touch on them. And then once that finishes, I do a purge line. Again, bed slinger. I don't have a purge. I don't have a purge bucket or wipers. But then I do a purge line, and then it releases the job to the GCode that's been sliced.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
yeah, I think
everything up until the point where even the purge is all part of that GCode
script
macro. So I have a sequence of events that occur before it's released to print a job. But it prepares the printer. And it certainly makes it a lot easier. I don't have big blobs of filament driven along all over the print bed while I'm waiting for things to warm up.
Yeah, I mean, Jubilee uses a start print sequence too. In fact, in the wiki it says if you want to add your slicer, like here's like the start snippet of GCode you want to add and the end snippet of GCode you want to add.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be too much of a deviation to add some extra stuff in there. But I don't really want to put conditionals as a requirement for a little while longer.
Oh yeah, no. It's just a matter of a conditional is just it's basically it's air handling, right? You're building air handlers into the.
Oh right, because the plan is that I do want because not all controllers support conditional G-code yet. I want to make the build portable to other platforms, not necessarily strictly Duet. Even though I do like the Duet, I'll probably still use one, but I don't want to make it too difficult for people who strongly want to use something else.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, a conditional. The conditionals are just. The thing is, you could do it in pseudocode, right? You have it so it's a pseudocode series of sequence, startup and shutdown sequence, right? And it's going to have to be adapted to whatever, the user is going to have to adapt the pseudocode to whatever flavor of G-code or firmware they're running, right? But the pseudocode is just in there as a...
I mean, you're already going to have to change things based on which controller you're running anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if the controller does not support conditional G-code, then I don't want to even pseudocode any conditional G-code in.
Got it. I mean, Clipper handles conditionals. Marlin handles conditionals. I think RepRap handles conditionals pretty well. I don't know. I don't know Teacup. I don't know SmoothieWare. But I think SmoothieWare has shares a lot of G-code with Marlin.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I was successfully able to print my new motor plates and my motor spacer block.
Oh, cool.
And I've got them heat set, so I was successfully able to print them in PET. The Vision Miner nanopolymer adhesive is flippin' amazing.
Oh, cool.
I was having all kinds of trouble keeping my corners my edges from lifting up on the PETG.
Yeah.
And, wipe down the bed plate with some alcohol, let it dry. A couple of thin lines of the nanopolymer adhesive. I have no idea what he's doing there.
I'm trying to get the thermal resistor to go back to 2000, but no matter how I shake this or poke the wires, nothing's happening. So I'm finding it semi-hard to believe that there's something loose in here right now.
I think there's something that happens at the end of the print.
Well, this happened. No, I went to 2000 in the middle of the print. Remember?
Oh, that's right. I think there's something that's happening that's causing that heater or the controller board to lose its mind regarding that sensor, and then it's stuck in the register at some point. At that point,
seems to continue to print, which is interesting. But it makes me concerned that, I don't really know what temperature I'm printing at. Is it still actually printing at the right temperature, or what is it doing,
the question is does the controller think the temperature is 2000, or is it a recording problem, or is it a sensor problem?
I think it's very unlikely it's a reporting problem.
Okay, well,
because if all of a sudden you read 2000 degrees on your hot end, would there not be some sort of fault?
Yeah, you'd get a thermal runaway, and it'd do a firmware shutdown. You'd get an e-stop on the printer.
Right.
The fact that it continues to operate and you can still interact with it even though it's reading 2000 tells me it's some kind of reporting problem in Mischief. Get down from there.
You may also need to enable the firmware so the heat shut off. There is a timer that you need to set of when it kicks in.
Now the question is, do I bother to replace the ribbon cable, or do I just use the ribbon cable I already have? I'm worried that there might be some damage to it, so.
Probably not. Ribbon cable's pretty tough. Unless you drag a knife across it. Not that I'd ever done that before. So how are classes going?
They're fine. They're online, but they're reasonable.
Okay.
Nothing too terrible. I think thankfully I have enough headspace to worry about other problems that are all Jubilee related.
Okay. Were you able to figure out what that manufacturing course? Did the professor come up with?
Yeah, everyone ordered an under 3.
All right then.
Yeah.
That worked.
So yeah, it should be interesting. Even I got one, so it hasn't shipped, but it's not here yet. But that'll be cool.
Okay. Did you get a hold of Lee that I introduced you to?
No, my professor I think just contacted them directly, double checked the
Okay.
supply chain, and was like, "Go for it," or "Go forth, students."
All right. Cool.
So yeah, she checked ahead of time. I was gonna say. Yeah, no, I have. So right now I'm working with a spring manufacturer in China who is making springs. I think I mentioned this already.
Yeah.
So custom springs are happening. I just repped the twist lock such that it accepts the custom spring, and it is way easier to assemble at this point because the spring captures are no longer laser cut. They're little Delrin. They're not Delrin pieces anymore. They're little bent. They're solder terminal lugs, which it turns out make really great cheap spring anchors.
Yes, they do.
So who knew? And that was something I was expecting. In fact, if you want to see it, I'm happy to screen share on the live.
I don't know that I can watch a screen share from where I'm at. I'm on my iPad. Hold on. Let me move over to the laptop or the desktop. That goes there. This goes here. I may have to fight for my chair. Hey, Levi, did I wake you up? Fluffball? Levi decided to join me today for a conference call.
Hey.
So we're on a video call, and he walks into frame.
I'm told this is like a thing now.
It is.
So you need to live stream with your pets, or you need to like conference call people at work with your pets in the background.
I like the one where the lady downloaded some filters, couldn't figure out how to turn them off, and ended up having to go through an entire business meeting as a potato.
Yep. She is now a meme. And has been made into a I think it made into a Pokemon card.
Yeah, somebody turned her into Diglett.
Oh my god.
All right.
I laughed so hard I literally had tears.
Is this boss trapped in potato filter for video meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Okay, so apparently we all have Schrodinger's virus now.
Uh-oh.
Yes, because we cannot get tested, we cannot know whether we have the virus. We have to act as if we have the virus so as to not spread it to others. We have to act as if we've never had the virus because if we didn't have it, we're not immune. Therefore, we both have and don't have the virus, thus Schrodinger's virus. And if you don't understand the joke, never talk to me about science again.
Nice.
Okay, so, all right, I'm on the computer now. So if you share a screen, I may or may not get connected here and have to pick up.
Let's see if I can try it. Does it work?
I was having y-axis stepper cutouts. So I had to print a test piece, and that's what that vase is. and that was printed on the big bed slinger.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is like the new version of the thing, which is I guess some of the key differences. Let's see if I can hide this or make it transparent. I'm shooting for there's actually a machine part that I have. That's a machine little wheel hub that will pop in. Uh-oh, that sounds strange.
Brian, you sound like an alien. Okay, so what were you saying now?
Oh, there's a machine piece that goes in here. I had that made in China, and it seemed to come out pretty nicely. So I'll probably get more of them for people, and you can, or you can still print it. But I do like the idea of a metal hub here because it's a little bit stronger. So that piece is going to stick in there, and then there's a screw hole so you can screw it in just like the other one. And then here, this is where the math got weird. But show. Oh no, let's hide that again. I still haven't cleaned this up. But the idea is that these are just terminal logs that I found on DigiKey by Keystone.
Are those the same ones on the?
Yes, they are currently the same ones. Although in the new version, in 2.02, the terminal logs are going to look different, but there's no reason to replace them. Let's see if I can find the 2.02 lugs. In 2.02, the lugs look like, oh, I suppressed them. The lugs are just a strip. They're basically like 20 cents. They're the same price. But they look like this. And the reason I did that is because, yeah, so the new terminal lug, and I tested this, it's very stiff. It's perfect. It'll be good enough for this. The idea is that you would bend it into a loop with a tool, or like by hand, or with needle nose pliers. It's very doable by hand or with pliers, and that will form your spring capture. And the reason I did it that way is because the springs that I spec'd from AliExpress that are supposed to replace the bed springs have like double loops. They're like double looped, and so you can't actually hook them into anything because they're fully closed loops. So this part was a replacement for that. Let's see if I didn't do anything. This piece is this is the current one that people are seeing on 2.01, which is another like 20-cent part. Where this gets weird is figuring out how much stretch. So, okay, so the way this works is that the pulley now, the spring now stretches from this terminal lug to this terminal lug, and the length is like 33.2 millimeters with hooks, I believe. And when you happen to stretch it 8 millimeters, you are able to deflect this, click it in the inside, and you get the same amount of torque. You express the same amount of torque as you did with a spring anchor, or with the spring cable. What am I talking about? The cable carrier, spring guide. So hopefully that should be an easier thing to put together because you don't have to cut any spring. All you have to do is, the fabrication on this is super, I would consider it's pretty straightforward. You're literally taking you're taking this at the tip, at the very tip of the terminal lug on the small hole. You're just grabbing needle nose pliers and you're bending that 90 degrees.
Okay.
And that I think is pretty simple to do. Don't say that. No,
what's our lead time on the springs and the machined hubs?
The hubs are here. I have 50 of them already. They were like $350 a piece, so I can get those out at some point. The springs are being made right now. I think it's like 20 days. And then if those work, my guess is that I'll try to go through a revision. But if those work, then I'll get a bunch of them made, like 500 or like 100 plus at least. And then I can send them to Phil Streeter and hopefully be willing to stock them. I think he already is willing to stock them because he already agreed to stock other parts for the tool changer. So I think we're going to be okay there.
So yeah, you're cutting
what's up?
You're cutting Luke out of supply chain?
Oh no. No, it just it gets easier to assemble because you don't have to. We're almost entirely through cleared out of Delrin parts at this point. I think we actually are cleared out of Delrin parts at this point. Like the last pieces were these little clips, so those are replaced with two 20-cent parts. The spring guide is super easy. The spring guide is now thrown out for this section. It's an actual spring with actual specs, like force specs.
That's good.
And overall, I think the construction is just easier to put together. So I have high hopes for this one. It should be less of a pain, and yeah, that's about it on that one. The bed is going to get a revision in the midterm. This I think will probably happen afterwards, but long story short, there is a terminal. There's a thermal fuse that will be able to fit inside of here. And then let me see how my screen sharing is doing. Is it possible to screen share the whole screen? Oh, cancel. Wait, I'm going to stop and then restart.
Okay.
Screen share. The whole screen. Wait, no. Wait, yes. Screen. Sure. Now look at all these tabs, including the potato person.
Hey, look, it's the potato box.
I was like, what is this? Okay. Where did I put that? Editor. No, wait. This one. Editor. Yeah, that's the only thing that's gonna be weird. That £200 order. But this is it's a half lamp. This is also these are pretty typical parts. It's a lot of the stuff has been like part hunting and hoping for a part that does something for you, so you don't have to make your own part. But yeah, it turns out that these are great for cable management, and they sell them in 6mm diameter, which is great because the thermal fuse is a 6mm diameter, so we can just embed it into a tiny little pocket and then call it a day. And then it's replaceable. You unscrew this piece, and you're good to go. So that'll make things safer, at least. The thing that's still weird for me, and I think I might contact Lenovo and ask if they're willing to do the wires in a different place. I'm not super sure how the wires are going to work out here. I think you still have to do them from the side, loop over into a connector that goes into the fuse, and then loop out. So the thing that's still missing here is there's supposed to be some sort of strain release that's not there yet. I'm looking at, okay, this is where it gets weird. Okay, this is just a terrible idea, but the idea would be if you go to Alibaba, you can actually ask them to specify, you can actually, this is a tape measure manufacturer, and what this person right now is doing is she's going to bend it, there you go. And it turns out that this mechanism is actually really, really good for cable strain relief. I've used it before on other things. And so my hope was like, can I send people a part instead of actually getting them to like go buy this tape measure and cut it in half? And I think the answer is going to be yes. So the hope would be that we have a piece of measuring tape material, which is just spring steel. You sheath that with a cable braid, and then you can attach your bed wires to that, and you get a really fine bending radius because the stuff is actually super compliant. So that's the plan behind that.
The other thing is, if we're going to do that, make sure that we get the silicone wiring off the bed in place of fiberglass.
Oh yeah, so the other thing too is that this isn't, so currently it is attached to the bed, but the plan is to bolt it off with standoffs, so that's not actually, it basically becomes really hard for the wires in any way to rub against any of the sharp edges here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. I've been busy doing stuff, I suppose. We'll stop streaming.
Easy.
Is anyone going to the VERF?
There is no official VERF.
Is anyone going to go to one of the unofficial verses?
Yeah. Seriously, dude, really? Come on, get down. Come on. Come on.
So, what is happening in these unofficial verse?
I think people are just going to talk for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's hard to say what they're going to do.
Are you going to be participating in any way?
I think I probably should say something, pop in. So it looks like Wade, who is Manzala Roseworks, is going to pop in at like 9:15-ish, 8:15. Some stuff about upgrade parts for Railcore and Jubilee, so I figured I'll pop into there. Hey, I'll put my name in here.
Good. It'll be good seeing you there.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Let's see, I'm typing in this document. I don't know who I'm talking to. There we go. Hey, oh, it's Ray.
It is Ray. Hi.
Oh, hey.
How's it going?
Good. I haven't talked to Poof by voice yet.
In the flesh.
Well, that too. Flesh, we like to keep distance right now, I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard you talk over YouTube,
Oh,
but not
really?
directly. Well, I've watched your talk.
Oh, I said something at some point.
Yes, it was like just over an hour of doing that, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. You had to listen to me talk for an hour.
No, it's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Somebody live streaming right now, or?
I am, but there's not a whole lot to see. I'm just fiddling around with something at the moment.
I haven't been around in a while.
Yeah, welcome to the stream.
I'm
not watching the stream. I was just on Discord because of other reasons, and I saw that you guys had an audio thing going.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's always exciting to hear people's voices.
It is.
Yeah, so this is mostly I just live stream, and it's kind of become like a hangout hour for people.
Or three.
It's not the printer, or I built a Jubilee from the ground up on the live stream every step of the way. I only have one tool at the moment. I'm trying to get this one working well before I start building another tool. But I have...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so from now on, I'll probably still do some live streams, but they're just going to be more casual. Well, not that they weren't already casual, but I'm not working towards any particular goal at any given moment, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Saturday night is going to take casual to a whole new level.
Did anyone try Matik's Delrin wedge plates?
I didn't get any. I asked, or he never responded to my...
Okay, I think he probably just ran out. I might be able to send, okay, I can't send any mail right now, but at some point I can send you a couple, like the ones that I got. They work really, they're nice. They're really, really nice. Basically, all the problems that I saw with inconsistent locking, I probably never would have seen them had I restarted with Delrin plates. Because they're so smooth, it just pulls it directly into position.
You know,
really nice.
It's kind of funny that I started talking to you about these Delrin plates, and a couple weeks later, somebody made them.
Yeah. And I actually was gonna go borrow my professor's other mill to play with it over spring break, but somebody had them and they were just like, oh yeah. That's not to say that the plastic ones, the printed ones won't work, because they will. It's just that everything, the setup is a little bit more finicky. You have to make sure your tool is being held rigidly, because if it twists, if the carriage twists the tool at any point, it might not lock correctly. And the Delrin plates basically make it really hard for it to twist.
I almost bought a mill just so I could do it, but my buddy has him. He has 2 mills, and I even gave him the material, and he still has yet to even try to make one yet.
Is this the same design of the little triangle piece
Yeah.
you're talking about? So you just get a sheet that's that thin, and you can do it on a router effectively?
Yeah. Essentially.
Cool.
Although
You do a three-dimensional contour path, I think, to get that spiral thingy.
it has to. Yeah, it's a helix.
Yeah.
What
Cool.
was I gonna say? I'm right now. I told Matik to hold off on like making more. Like it's totally cool to make more if you want, but I was gonna change the geometry a little bit, and I did already. So I will push that probably into 2.02. Long story short, E3D plates and the like default Jubilee tool plates lock in a different location. And between 2.01 and 2.02, I'm trying to consolidate them, get those locking locations to lock a little bit more closely together. And like nobody's run into this as far as I know. I don't think using plates for their tools, although I could be wrong. But
just got the Delrin plates. They just arrived a couple of days ago, so I got a pair of them.
Sweet, yeah.
So I'll go forth. Yeah, I'm like I said, I just got my motor plates printed this afternoon.
Yeah,
and most of them assembled already. So I'm not, I might get some progress done this weekend.
Yeah. So basically, if you use the Delrin plates, your life will be amazing. But in 2.02, I'm going to change the topology by 0.2 millimeters. People will have to add an extra shim in the back of the twist lock, but the result is that E3D plates lock a little bit more easily, and the location is kind of the printed plates lock at about a 90-degree angle, which I think is, or about 180-degree angle.
Okay.
And just the hope was just to make sure that it really is compatible with E3D plates, so that you could just mix and match and not care.
Cool. Well, that's the goal.
These are good things.
These are good things.
Small improvements.
Yeah, I'll try to get
they're all optional.
It's funny. There's 3 distinct things that you said and I wanted to reply to each of them with, "That's open source for you."
Yep.
So have you thought about it?
The person picking up the thing and making the thing, the thing you just said about constantly iterating, and then the third area of not so good. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is getting more stable. The design is getting more stable. I think 2.02 will be so at every point it's a functional build. You can build it and you'll get something that works. These are all are you familiar with the Bazaar model for open source?
I've heard the name, but
yeah,
a little context would help.
Sure. So, long story short, I'm in grad school, and the way I'm going to be able to graduate is if I read about this stuff and write about this stuff, in addition to building the stuff. So I've been reading about open source. Basically, the thing that I'm supposed to be writing a paper on right now is compiling open hardware from source, which is kind of like this play on words, because in the world of open source software, you get source files. You have raw code, source code, like C++ files, Python files, what have you. And what you do is you compile it. You run a script or a makefile, and that's a recipe that says how the computer is supposed to compile it, in what order, what files in what order go where, and then they get linked, and then you get an executable which you can run on your computer. So the analog to that in the hardware world is this step, this fabrication and assembly step, where you start with source files and instructions, and then you have to physically print things, you have to machine things, you have to buy things, and then you have to put it all together and then tune it. So the challenge right now, or the reason why is figuring out how do we make that easy for people. What are tools that we can create that make that easier and more of a streamlined process for people, so you don't have to have the knowledge of the designer, you don't have to be participating in the project constantly in order to figure out what the hell am I supposed to do when you stumble on it online. And as far as Bazaar model goes, there's back in the day when Linux was being put together, there was a writer who was no, there was another participant in the Linux project who was looking at various open source models and was like, okay, this is like the Bazaar model. And then the other one was the Cathedral model. And in the Cathedral model, what happens is that the number of the people who are developing and testing are one closed group, and the people who get the result only get a release, and they have no say. They have no say basically in what they are able to change. They are not able to test the design as it happens. So the testers are also the people who are writers. The Bazaar model is where releases are pushed more often, and people who are doing the testing could also be people who are using the platform. So you have the idea with the Bazaar model is that it's a little bit more open to people using it at a slightly less mature stage, and as a result, they get to test a lot more stuff. And the other result is that they end up finding and encountering more bugs, and then the result is that those bugs get fixed, and you get something that ends up being crowdsourced more.
Welcome to open source.
Yeah, so it's this idea of like, okay, like
Customers
what model?
testers.
Yeah, like what model works here? How do you create a community and give them something that is valuable without like screwing them over somehow or taking advantage of them? Like it would be, yeah. So like if I like changed the bomb again and I made like a Jubilee, which like you had to throw out all your extrusion, buy another set of extrusion, that would be like, that doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do at this point.
You mean like V1 to V2?
Yeah. Sorry. But see, that's the thing, is that like hardware costs money. You can't just recompile it and that'd be a free step. This is stuff that I learned too. And then I'm going to write it down so that I can share it with people.
Side note, just out of random curiosity, have you thought about putting the springs into V2 for the tool mounts?
Springs.
Or is that be like just a community mod?
I'm not sure yet, because I want it to be at a point where it doesn't need the springs. Or I think something in that spirit is a good step forward. I'm not sure how I feel about. Basically, I'm not committed to the tool posts at all. If somebody can come up with a better tool post, then let's take it, because
we just need to have a telekinetic elf attached to each one of them to hold them all in place with its mind.
Well, I mean, there's various ways of holding it in. I think a spring is a good option. I think a leaf spring, like a printed leaf spring, would be another good option. But if we get to the point where it doesn't actually need the springs at all, that would be cool too. And I think with the Delrin plates, that might be possible. But people need to test it and kind of see if that's the case.
More importantly, have you priced those telekinetic elves recently?
You know,
so expensive.
They're actually not expensive at all, because you simply enslave them.
Oh my goodness.
We went dark really quickly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'm really tired.
Yeah, I'm resting up for the all-nighter that I may or may not be pulling. Working several hours into the night, and/or passing out before I get to that point in time. One or the other.
Whichever. And Ray, I may very well be getting a cohesion board from you.
Oh.
Maybe not. I don't know. Depends on what controllers in the printer the laser cutter I'm buying.
Cool.
It's said to be a thunder laser.
Oh, it's going to have a Ruida, and it's going to come with light burn, and you're going to be all set.
Okay. Well,
you're buying a Thunder direct?
No, I'm not buying it direct. I'm buying it from the company who bought it from a Thunder, and then life went sideways.
How old is it, roughly speaking? Like 1 year, 5 years old?
It's got about 2 hours of runtime on the laser.
But that doesn't answer whether it was manufactured a year ago or 5 years ago.
It's about a year.
Oh, okay, it's probably got a Ruida in it. You can just get light burn and it'll work, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, he's sending me pictures and serial numbers and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
there's a website called Laser Gods. They have an article that will identify controllers. So just look up what a Ruida looks like, and then compare that to what the panel on, like the control panel on the laser looks like, and it's probably going to be a relief.
Got it. Yeah, it's the I think it's the Nova 35.
Yeah, and more importantly, just ask them what software they use, and if they say RDWorks, then you're all set.
Okay.
If they say, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I had a question about your controller board, but
Sure.
Someone else go over. Oh, okay. Is it generic or is it specific to the K40?
No, it'll run a lot of different CO2 lasers, diode lasers, CNC mills even. It's just that the previous product line that we had, if we go back like 3+ years ago, we had a general purpose board. Like we just like made a derivative of the smoothie board effectively, and it could run 3D printers, CNCs, lasers, whatever. Like, and then just one of the items that I had was the kit that took a mostly generic board. So, I'm sorry. We had a board that could do anything, but also had the connectors for the K40. And then we had the bare board, and then we had the board with memory card and 2 stepper drivers, so pre-configured for the K40. That ended up being over 90% of my sales. So 2 years later, we laser focused, on lasers. So the laser board, 1 year old, just over 1 year old at this point, is laser specific because that's where our money was coming from. There's the K40, it's pre-configured for that. There's also larger lasers that have the same shit control board like the K40. This will run those as well, just with some configuration changes. And then it's got like 3 other laser control mechanisms, ability to run external drivers. It'll do a lot.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Does it have PPI control?
That's a loaded question because
PPMM. I work in metric. PPMM. Oh no. So like pulses per inch, pulses per millimeter. So
it's a loaded question because what does that really mean? Yes, there are other higher end